The moment I realized my life had become silent, I didn't feel panic. I felt relief. No messages. No expectations. No one waiting for me to explain myself. Just quiet. At first, it felt like freedom. I used to be surrounded by people. Conversations, plans, obligations, emotions that demanded attention. Every interaction felt like a performance I was getting tired of maintaining. So I started stepping back. Not dramatically. Not suddenly. Quietly. I stopped replying right away. Stopped making plans. Stopped asking how people were really doing. I told myself I was protecting my energy. But what I was really doing, was disappearing. My apartment became my entire world. Dim lights. Closed curtains. The soft hum of the refrigerator replacing human voices. Days blended into each other. No deadlines. No arguments. No emotional risks. Just existence without friction. People used to call. Then they texted. Then they stopped. And when the silence finally settled, it didn't feel empty. It felt safe. I didn't have to be anyone. No version of myself to maintain. No emotions to manage. No explanations to offer. Just me, alone, without being questioned. But safety has a strange way of turning into isolation. At first, I didn't notice the change. I still went outside. Still bought groceries. Still worked enough to survive. But I stopped connecting. Cashiers became background noise. Strangers became moving objects. Conversations became unnecessary. My voice grew quieter. Not because I had nothing to say. Because no one was listening anymore. One night, while scrolling through my phone, I realized something unsettling. I hadn't received a personal message in weeks. No how are you? No are you okay? No I miss you. Just notifications from apps that didn't know my name. I stared at the screen. Not with sadness. With acceptance. This was the life I had created. A quiet one. And quiet felt easier than emotional chaos. Then, something unexpected happened. My neighbor knocked on my door. I almost didn't answer. Human interaction had started to feel like an interruption. But the knocking continued. When I opened the door, he looked uncomfortable. I just wanted to check if you were still alive, he said awkwardly. I laughed. Barely, I replied. He smiled politely. Just making sure someone still lives here. The door closed. The hallway went silent again. But his words stayed. Still alive. That night, I stood in front of the mirror longer than usual. Not to look at my face. To look at my eyes. They looked tired. Not physically. Emotionally. I had created a life where nothing hurt. But nothing mattered either. I stopped feeling sadness. But I also stopped feeling connection. And connection was the only thing that ever made pain worth surviving. The silence I had chosen was no longer peaceful. It was empty. Days continued passing without meaning. Then one morning, my phone rang. An unfamiliar number. I almost ignored it. But something in me answered. Hello, a woman's voice responded. Hi. I'm calling about your father. My chest tightened. My father. We hadn't spoken in years. Not because of conflict. Because of distance. Emotional distance. Geographical distance. Life distance. What about him? I asked. He's been asking for you, she said. I didn't know what to say. He doesn't have much time, she added. Silence filled the call. The kind that feels heavier than words. I'll think about it, I replied. After the call ended, I sat on my bed, staring at nothing. The quiet didn't comfort me this time. It judged me. I had spent years disappearing from everyone. Now someone was asking me to reappear. And I didn't know how. I told myself I didn't owe anyone anything. I had built my life on independence. On emotional distance. On not needing anyone. But the truth was simpler. I was afraid. Afraid of facing someone who still remembered me as a person, not just a shadow. Days passed. I didn't call back. Silence felt easier. But it also felt heavier. Every quiet moment now carried a weight I couldn't ignore. I realized something uncomfortable. I wasn't peaceful. I was numb. And numbness is just pain that learned how to stay quiet. One night, I sat on the floor of my apartment with the lights off, listening to the city breathe through the walls. Cars passed. People laughed. Life continued. And I felt like I was watching it from underwater. Disconnected. Distant. Untouched. That's when I understood what I had really done. I hadn't simplified my life. I had erased myself from it. The next morning, I called the number back. My hands were shaking. Not from fear. From resistance. Because I knew this call would break the silence I had worked so hard to build. "He is still here," the woman said. But not for long. I booked a ticket. Not because I felt ready. Because I felt responsible. The journey felt unreal. Every mile reminded me how far I had drifted from the people who once knew me. When I arrived, the hospital smelled like disinfectant and unfinished conversations. He looked smaller than I remembered. Not weaker. Just quieter. His eyes opened when I entered. "You came," he said. Not with surprise. With relief. We didn't talk about the past. We didn't need to. The silence between us wasn't awkward. It was honest. After a while, he asked, "Did you disappear, or did you just stop talking?" The question felt like a mirror. "I think I stopped living out loud," I replied. He smiled faintly. "Silence can feel safe," he said. "But it's lonely." He passed away 2 days later. No dramatic goodbye. No long speech. Just a quiet exit. When I left the hospital, the world felt louder than it used to. Not because the sounds were different. Because I was listening again. Back in my apartment, the silence felt different. Not comforting. Exposed. The walls didn't protect me anymore. They reminded me. I started calling people. Not to apologize. To reconnect. Some answered. Some didn't. But I didn't disappear again, because I had learned something too late to ignore. A quiet life isn't always a peaceful one. Sometimes it's just a life without witnesses. And without witnesses, even pain feels meaningless. Now, when the silence comes, I don't hide inside it. I let it exist. But I don't let it erase me anymore. Because being heard, even imperfectly, is better than being invisible.